And it's actually lack of practice that creates a problem. Now think about the COVID situation. The challenge is very simple. We need to wear a mask, we need to sanitize our hands, we need to keep a distance of 6 feet. We are not able to do that because it's lack of practice. But if you tell people to keep a distance of 6 feet between their car and the other car, they're able to do that because they practice that. So my words, which is again often repeated, is don't give too much emphasis to knowledge or intelligence, give more emphasis to practice.
Hi and welcome to another episode of the peopleHum interview series. This is your host Anushka Rajesh from peopleHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives more than 400,000 visitors a year, and we also publish several interviews with well-known names globally every month. We have with us today Krishnan Raman. Krishnan Raman is the founder and CEO of Proactive eSolutions, and he was also the principal consultant at Franklin Covey. With more than 20 years of experience in coaching and mentoring, he helps build principle-based solutions that have ensured sustainable results for both individuals and teams on a global level. His personal vision is also to just build a strong and social foundation where the current generation creates a better and sustainable world for future generations. We're extremely happy and honored to have someone of his stature today on our interview series. Welcome, Krishnan. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you, Anushka.
The pleasure is absolutely ours.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
No problem. Thank you for taking the time and actually talking to the peopleHum team today. All right, so diving right deep into the interview, Krishnan, the first question I really had for you was, you're the founder and CEO of Proactive eSolutions. So can you just tell us in a nutshell, about your company, its ideologies, and how it really came into being?
Okay, so the earlier company was called Proactive Solutions. And I found that by nature, people are very reactive. And it's all around us. If you look at sports, you have to react to a shot. If you look at the world around us, people are looking at how quickly can you react to a situation. If you order a pizza, we want them to react quickly and deliver us within 30 minutes. Amazon says we'll do it within the same day. And so during the days when we used to do AMC, so companies would have a contract where they would say that if our system goes down, you have to react within so and so hours, and you need to respond, and you need to be there within 2 hours or 4 hours. If not, then there was a penalty clause. And I used to wonder, why would they want the system to go down? Because the time it went down, it was much costlier than the AMC they were paying us. So I would go and get the AMC changed. I would say that you penalize us if your system goes down. We will ensure it never goes down because we are going to be very proactive. We don't want to be reactive. So name the company Proactive Solutions. And then I realized that people are constantly being rewarded for being reactive instead of being proactive. So the E stands for education. So eSolutions stood for educational solutions. I used to constantly coach my team, telling them they have to think ahead of time so that we can build solutions that can last for a decade ahead. So we needed to be proactive. That's how the word eSolutions came. It stands for educational solutions. So as a coach, I try to make people future ready.
Wow, that's wonderful, Krishnan. Congratulations on the success of your work, and you're really a role model for many because you've been inspiring and motivating both individuals and teams for more than 20 years. So that's great.
Thank you. So I have to be humble enough to admit, Anushka, that is the other people are the role model for me, because when I coach, that the matches are won by the players, not by the coach. So when I see people's potential and how they perform, that's what my inspiration is. So you yourself would be a role model for me as a youngster.
Oh, thank you. But that's really modest of you, and that really speaks volumes of the person that you are. So just congratulations on the success of Proactive eSolutions and the great work that you are doing, Krishnan.
Thank you, Anushka.
So going to the next question, you've also mentioned that part of your career as a life coach involves teaching leaders how to co-evolve. And, especially today with the pandemic, this is a need of the hour? And how would you really advise leaders to get along with their employees, especially in an environment where, ideologies can often clash?
So what I learned was that everything is different in this world. If you look at how a color pink is created, it's because there's a red and there's a white. So there are two different colors. Same colors cannot. Water is created by hydrogen and oxygen. So I learned that differences are actually a leverage, but people get into a conflict and the ideologies don't match. So trying to learn and help others understand that when we talk about diversity, it's about differences. So how to create a culture where people are embracing the differences rather than getting into conflicts. So that is something that all of us as leaders need to adapt and adopt. And coming to leadership with the youngsters, we know that through evolution, the next generation is smarter than ours. But leaders are always taught to advise rather than seek advice. So with the current leaders, including myself, I try to seek advice from the youngsters and trying to encourage that with the current leaders too.
That's great. That's such a unique perspective. And I love how you actually gave the analogy of the colors. And it's wonderful. It's extremely the need of the hour to embrace the difference within us. And that also...
Think about this. It's the current leaders who have messed up the world. And the youngsters are thinking how to improve the world. So we must learn from the youngsters.
Wow, that's a really unique perspective. Thank you for that. And I also completely agree with you with what you just said. And it's really also imperative to get diverse perspectives on the table so that we get an insight into various people and the various backgrounds that they come from. So foster more diversity and inclusion. Absolutely.
See, that's how a symphony is created. Different pieces of instrument all playing differently, and then you create a symphony out of it.
Absolutely. That's great, Krishnan. So just going on to the next question, let's talk about sustainable results now. So do you think, the efforts that go into really achieving sustainability for, say, individuals is kind of different from those that may go into achieving sustainability for teams?
See, a team is just a collection of individuals. So think about how a cricket or a football team plays. The individual wins only when the team wins. Or if you look at an organization like the Army, Navy, or Air Force, there is no disassociation between the victory for the team or the victory for the individual. I also look at individuals like the different parts of the body. So it is not possible that a body is sustainable, but the individual part is not, or vice versa. Now, why that happens is there is no co-missioning, co-visioning. So the word co is not there. It's usually given to people. So people are having, different visions and not as a common vision. But if that happens, I don't see there should be any difference between the victory for the team and the individuals not being in sync. Should not happen ideally.
Right. So you're saying the micro aspects and individuals on a personal level can also contribute to macro level organizational successes by working together.
See, the micro is a component of the macro.
Right.
But do all the micros, are they commonly aligned to the macro? That's the question.
True. Yes. That's wonderful. In fact, I don't think a previous influencer has really given us this insight on a micro and macro. Thank you for that.
Pleasure.
So also, when we talk about organizational success, we often tend to perceive it as like in terms of how long the duration a company has really flourished. In that way, how can leaders ensure that, they leave behind a legacy for their future generations?
Okay, good question. So it depends what is the legacy you want to leave. Now, long-term companies have also closed down. We are aware of many names. So if you look at, if any organization works on their mission, we often forget what the mission of the organization is. So success just means top line, bottom line, market share. And ultimately the society which sustains, ultimately is the world which is going to sustain. So a legacy is all about creating something that lasts for future generations. but organizations are only looking at what's my this year's target. So that's one of the challenges they face, why they're struggling to leave a legacy. Legacy requires a future vision we need to work on.
Right. So it's basically about aligning the vision, mission, and then working towards the organizational goals.
In the long term, and we have to think it like it's like a relay race. So you hand over the baton to the next person, the next generation who carries it forward.
Right.
Then the legacy will sustain.
True, true. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. So just to kind of wrap this interview up, Krishnan, do you have any final sound bites you'd like to leave our audience with?
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What is the legacy you want to leave behind, or what is the legacy you envision for a future world?
In my opinion, I would, as a leader, I would really want to be a people's person. More than just lead, I would want people to lead and just show them a sense of direction and instill in them first good values that will actually, stay with them for a long time on a personal as well as on a professional level, and hope for them to be similar role models for others.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anushka. So we give too much emphasis on knowledge, learning, but very little on practices.
True.
And it's actually lack of practice that creates a problem. Now think about the COVID situation. The challenge is very simple. We need to wear a mask. We need to sanitize our hands. We need to keep a distance of 6 feet. We are not able to do that because it's lack of practice. But if you tell people to keep a distance of 6 feet between their car and the other car, they're able to do that because they practice that. So my words, which is again often repeated, is don't give too much emphasis to knowledge or intelligence. Give more emphasis to practice.
That's great. I think that's really the need of the hour, and especially putting theory to practice is what is really imperative. So thank you for that last bit. Also, the last bit of positivity.
It is something you will find in another interview also, because this is something I am very fond of repeating, that practices matter more than knowledge.
True, absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you on that one. So thank you very much, Krishnan. It was an absolute honor to interview today, and I'm really hoping to do a second lap of this sometime in the near future. And
sure.
Yes, you take care and have a safe and healthy time ahead of you.
Thank you, Anushka. Have a great evening, and wish you a very happy new year to you and your team, everyone in the family. Stay safe.
Thank you. Wish you the same and your kin too. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.